Welcome to the Ad Expert Podcast.
Glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, we are back with another deep dive, and today we're aiming for something highly specific. You know how digital marketing often feels like you're just sort of shouting into a void?
Oh, absolutely. It's the classic frustration.
Right. You spend hours crafting what you think is the perfect blog post or a brilliant service page. You hit publish.
And then exactly.
Nothing happens.
You built the ship, but you forgot the sails. Or, maybe you have the sails, but you're pointing them in completely the wrong direction.
That is a great way to put it. And to fix that today, we are looking at some really compelling research from Ad Expert.
Yeah, this is a fascinating agency.
For anyone tuning in who might be unfamiliar, Ad Expert is this Los Angeles-based online marketing and web development agency. And they've been navigating that incredibly cutthroat LA market for over a decade now.
Which is no small feat. I mean, if you're dealing with local clients in a city that competitive, you really can't rely on luck.
No, absolutely not. If you can rank a local business in Los Angeles, you can probably rank anything anywhere.
Right. It's the ultimate testing ground. And what's interesting about Ad Expert, specifically when you look at their team.
Right, the founders.
Yeah, Sam Ashrafi, who's the founder and marketing strategist, he comes from this heavy e-commerce and local marketing background with over 10 years of experience. And then you have Asa Nabavadi, who is their expert in SEO and professional analytics.
And together, they really don't do, gut-feeling marketing.
No, their entire philosophy is built around data-driven success.
Which, that sounds like a bit of a buzzword until you actually see how they apply it in practice.
Exactly. They aren't just writing content and hoping for the best. They focus on real-time tracking, they use AI for data-driven solutions, and they aim for long-term partnerships with their clients.
So today we are unpacking a specific framework from them. It's titled, The 5 Critical Places Keywords Must Appear to Win Google Rankings.
It sounds like a checklist, but honestly, it's really more of a philosophy about how Google actually reads our content.
Right. And here's the hook that really got me. Sam Ashrafi's analysis suggests that most people are focusing on the wrong thing entirely.
We obsess over writing more content.
Yes, longer posts, more frequent updates. But Ad Expert is essentially saying, stop.
Stop churning.
Right. The problem isn't usually the volume of your content. It's the placement of your signals.
That's the key word right there. Signals.
Yeah.
You have to bridge the gap between what you know you wrote and what Google thinks you wrote.
Which are often two very different things.
Completely different. You can have the most brilliant, engaging article on, say, vintage denim repair, but if the signals aren't sitting in the 5 specific spots Google looks at first, you're invisible.
I think this is where a lot of us get tripped up, honestly. We assume Google is this all-knowing entity that reads every word with the nuance of a literature professor.
I wish. But it's not. It's an algorithm. A very sophisticated one, sure, but it still needs explicit clues.
So before we get into those 5 specific places, I want to talk about this concept Ad Expert calls the keyword gap, because this really explains why their strategy works so well.
Yeah, the keyword gap is a massive opportunity.
When Sam and his team look at competitors in these tough LA markets, using their past data and competitor analysis, what are they actually seeing out there?
It's fascinating. A keyword gap essentially happens when the search engine results page. The SERP is technically full of links, but the content ranking there is weak on actual relevance.
Weak in what way? Like just poorly written?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But often it's just fluff-filled. So imagine you're searching for an emergency plumber in Santa Monica.
Okay, high-stress search.
Exactly. The top result might be a generic directory page, or maybe a blog post from 3 years ago that rambles on about the history of plumbing pipes in coastal cities.
Oh, I can't stand those pages. You just want to know who can fix the leak right now, and you're reading a history textbook.
Right. But here is the kicker. That page is ranking number 1. Why? Not because it's the best content, but because Google didn't have anything better that specifically signaled emergency plumber Santa Monica.
So when Google lacks a strong, precise result, it just sort of lowers the bar.
It has to. It has to show you something. So it lowers the bar and ranks the fluff.
That is such a crucial insight for anyone listening.
It really is. So the opportunity here, and this is what Ad Expert preaches, is that you don't always need a stronger domain authority or a million backlinks to beat that big competitor.
You just need better placement.
Precisely. If you fill that keyword gap with clear signals, you can leapfrog a giant lazy competitor who just has domain authority but terrible optimization.
So the lower authority sites can actually compete with the giants, provided they're smarter about where they put their keywords.
Yes, it levels the playing field.
Okay, let's get tactical. We have 5 signals to cover. Let's start with the big one. Signal number 1.
The title tag.
The source material calls this the strongest keyword signal. Now, just to be clear for everyone listening, this is the blue clickable link that shows up in the Google search results, right?
Correct. It's not necessarily the headline you see on the page itself.
Right.
In the code, it's the title tag. It's what appears in your browser tab, and most importantly, it's the main billboard in the search results.
So why is this the heavyweight champion of ranking factors?
Because it's the very first handshake. It's the first thing the user sees, and it's the primary text Google scans to categorize what your page is even about.
So if your target keyword isn't in there...
You are effectively running a race with your shoelaces tied together.
Yeah.
Even if you have high-quality backlinks, your page is going to struggle if the title tag is weak.
And the specific advice from Ad Expert here is really pointed. It's not just, hey, have the keyword in there somewhere.
You need to front load it.
Placed as close to the beginning as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, play devil's advocate with me for a second. Let's say I'm a creative writer. I want my title to be catchy. I want to write something like, The Unexpected Joy of Dough and Cheese.
And if you do that, you will rank for absolutely nothing. Or maybe you'll rank for the word dough.
Right. Whereas if I actually want to rank for my business, I should write something like, Best Pizza in Silver Lake. The Unexpected Joy of Dough and Cheese.
Yes, exactly. There's a tension there, right?
Yeah.
You want to be human and creative, but you have to be algorithmic first. Front-loading that keyword sends an immediate high-priority signal.
It says this is actually about pizza in Silver Lake.
Right. It's not a metaphor. Clarity beats cleverness in SEO every single time. If the user scans the results and doesn't see the exact words they typed in within the first few milliseconds, they just keep scrolling.
That makes total sense. So signal 1 is the title tag. Front load it. Now signal number 2, this is one I feel like people ignore completely. The URL slug.
The URL, yes. This is the actual web address, the .com/whatever comes next.
I have to admit, I usually just let my website builder auto-generate this. It ends up being like /page-e-3847.
And that is a huge missed opportunity. Ad Expert calls that a messy URL.
It does look kind of sketchy, honestly. If I see a URL with a bunch of random numbers, I sometimes assume it's spam.
Exactly. It erodes trust for the user. But from a search engine's perspective, it's a completely null signal. It tells Google nothing about your topic.
So what's the fix?
The Ad Expert strategy here is to make the URL a reinforcement of the title tag. So if your title is Best Pizza in Silver Lake, your URL should be a clean, optimized version of that.
Like /best-pizza-silver-lake.
Simple as that. It improves clarity for the user, which builds trust, and it confirms the topic relevance for the search engine.
What about dates? I see dates in URLs all the time, especially on blogs.
Dates are a trap. If you put /2024/ in your URL, guess what happens next year?
Your content looks instantly expired.
Exactly. A clean, keyword-focused URL is evergreen. It reinforces the topic without tying it to a specific moment in time.
It's a small detail, but I guess these things really stack up to form a complete picture.
They do. It's all about consistency. If the title tag says pizza and the URL says pizza, Google is twice as confident in what you're offering.
Okay, moving on. We've clicked the link. We like the title tag. The URL was trustworthy. Now the page actually loads. This brings us to signal number 3, the H1 heading.
This is where the bait and switch often happens.
The bait and switch? How so?
Well, you click a link for an emergency plumber, but the page loads, and the big bold headline, the H1, just says, "Welcome to Bob's website."
Oh, I hate that. You immediately think, wait, did I click the wrong thing? Am I in the right place?
And then what do? You hit the back button.
Instantly.
Right. And that bounce is a massive signal to Google that your page did not satisfy the user's intent.
So the H1 isn't just about getting the ranking, it's about retention.
Reassurance is the word Ad Expert uses. The title tag gets the click, but the H1 keeps them there. The H1 needs to confirm that the promise made in the search results is actually being kept.
So they need to work together. The title tag and H1 must align to make the relevance unmistakable.
Exactly. If the title is about Los Angeles real estate trends, the H1 needs to reflect that immediately. It anchors the user.
That makes sense. Which leads us perfectly into signal number 4. And I have to say, looking at the notes from Ad Expert, this one caused me the most personal pain as a writer.
Let me guess. The first sentence rule.
The first sentence rule. Why is this one considered the most overlooked factor, and why does it hurt so much?
Because we were all taught in school to write these long introductions. to set the scene, to give historical background.
Right. Since the dawn of time, man has yearned for the perfect slice of pizza.
And while you are yearning, the user has already clicked the back button. Ad expert's advice here is brutal but necessary. Address the search intent immediately, in the very first sentence.
This is the recipe blog problem, isn't it?
It is the defining example of what not to do. We all know the feeling of scrolling past 2,000 words about someone's childhood summers in Italy just to find out how long to boil the pasta.
We absolutely hate it.
We hate it because it disrespects our time. And the logic here is that Google pays very close attention to how quickly a page addresses the search term.
So early keywords reduce bounce rates.
Yes, because users feel they are in the right place instantly. Avoid the fluff that delays the answer.
So if I'm writing an article about vintage sneakers in LA, my first sentence shouldn't be about the invention of rubber soles.
No, it should be something like, here is where to find the best vintage sneakers in Los Angeles. Boom. You hit the keyword, you hit the intent, and the user relaxes because they know they found the answer.
It feels very direct.
It's efficient. Google tracks this. If you bury the keyword or the answer in the fourth paragraph, you are signaling to Google that your page is not the most efficient answer to the query.
Okay, so we're building a very clear path. Title tag, URL, H1, first sentence. That brings us to signal number 5. Now, this one has a nuance to it because the source material clarifies that it's actually optional for direct ranking.
The meta description.
Right, the little blurb of text under the blue link in the search results. If it's optional for ranking, why is it on the critical list?
Because it is absolutely critical for CTR, click-through rate.
Walk me through that connection.
So technically, Google does not use the meta description as a direct ranking signal. You don't get algorithmic points just for stuffing keywords in there.
Right.
But Google does rank you based on how human users interact with your link. If you are ranked number 4, but your meta description is so compelling that more people click on you than the guy at number 3, higher CPR signals stronger relevance to Google.
And that helps rank the page higher over time.
Exactly. The meta description is your sales pitch. It's the ad copy that convinces the human to click.
But there's a reality we have to acknowledge here, which Ad Expert mentions. The dreaded Google rewrite.
Yeah, this is frustrating for SEOs. Google often just rewrites these descriptions. They'll pull random text from your page that they think is more relevant to this specific search query.
Which means all your hard work writing the perfect pitch might just get ignored.
It might. But when they do display it, which is still very often, it heavily influences that human click.
So what's the best practice here?
Include the main keyword naturally.
Okay.
Because Google often bolds the keyword in the description, which catches the eye. But mainly, focus on benefits and clarity. Encourage action without resorting to hype.
Give me an example.
Like, learn the 5 simple steps to fix your leaky sink in under 10 minutes without calling a professional.
Clear benefit, clear action.
Exactly.
So those are the 5 critical places. Title tag, URL, H1, first sentence, meta description.
It seems honestly very straightforward.
It is straightforward, but it requires discipline.
How should someone listening actually apply this? The source suggests a specific auditing strategy for existing pages. Yes, and this is where you can see massive gains quickly. You don't just use this for new content. Ad Expert suggests a simple yes or no audit for the pages you've already published.
Just going down the list.
Right. Is the keyword in the title? Yes or no? Does the URL reflect the topic? Yes or no? Is the H1 aligned? Does the first sentence address the intent without fluff? Is the meta description compelling?
You could probably revitalize an entire website's traffic just by tightening those specific screws.
Absolutely. You fill those keyword gaps on your existing content, and suddenly pages that were stuck on page 2 start moving up.
Now, I want to zoom out for a second, because Ad Expert isn't just a basic SEO checklist agency. They emphasize building long-term partnerships, and their service philosophy involves some pretty advanced stuff.
Right. They talk about unleashing the power of AI, and they have this feature they call awesome reporting.
Which is a great name. But how does the simple placement checklist fit into that higher-tech, data-driven vision?
The placement is the foundation, but the execution and the tracking are where the AI and the analytics come in. You see, placement isn't everything.
Ad Expert is clear about that in the source.
Exactly. They mention supporting factors that are crucial. Things like fast load times, strong core web vitals, logical internal links, and high-quality backlinks.
So if your site takes 10 seconds to load, a perfect title tag isn't going to save you.
Right. It's a holistic view. But where Ad Expert's twist comes in is how they use AI-powered tools and live tracking to monitor these specific successes.
Meaning they don't just change a title tag and walk away.
No, you track the real-time data to see how the algorithm reacts. That's the awesome reporting.
Hmm.
It's one thing to know the theory, but you have to monitor the data to prove it's working.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we are coming toward the end of our deep dive today.
It goes by fast.
It does. Let's do a quick recap. The main takeaway here seems to be that SEO really doesn't need to be overly complicated.
Simplicity wins. That's the mantra.
It's about clear signals and satisfying the user's intent fast. And like we said earlier, filling these specific gaps allows lower authority sites to legitimately compete with the giants in their industry.
Which is incredibly empowering for local businesses, especially in markets like Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Now, before we sign off, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over. Something that builds on everything we've talked about today regarding user intent.
I'm intrigued.
We spend so much time crafting content, and let's be honest, sometimes ego gets in the way. We want to be admired for our writing.
Sure, we want to sound smart.
Right. But if Google's ultimate algorithmic goal is to satisfy the user's intent immediately, it begs a question. Are we writing content to satisfy the reader's actual curiosity? Or are we just writing to prove we know big words?
Oh, that's a great point.
Maybe the quote-unquote best content isn't the longest or the most poetic. Maybe the absolute best content is simply the content that respects the user's time the most.
That really reframes the whole process.
It does. Think about it next time you sit down to write that first sentence.
Cut the fluff.
Cut the fluff. A huge thank you to the team at Ad Expert for the source material, and to Sam Ashrafi and Ehsan Nabavati for sharing their framework.
It's been a great deep dive.
It has, and thank you to you for listening. See you on the next one.